talk about various different topics, and the name of our program is Analysis of the Analysis. So, why top experts disagree on the US Iran Israel conflict? Over the past few days, the world has been flooded with analysis about the escalating tensions between the United States, Iran, and Israel. But here's the real question: why are top experts from Washington to global think tanks giving completely different interpretation of the same events? Today, I'm not just analyzing the conflict, I'm analyzing the analysis. Let's begin with the Iran specialist perspective represented by Suzanne Meloni. Her core argument revolves around this: Iran is not acting irrationally, it is acting strategically. According to this line of analysis, Iran is avoiding war. Full-scale war, Iran is avoiding. Instead, it is using controlled escalation. And the third point is that she mentions is the proxy networks are being activated, but carefully. So, what does this mean? Iran is playing a long game, a long game. So, not to win a war, but to exhaust the United States and Israel politically and regionally. This school of thought suggests Iran benefits from instability, it does not benefit from direct confrontation. So, the key takeaway from Malone analysis is like Iran is managing escalation, not seeking war. Now, let's talk about Seth G. Jones, another expert. So let's shift to a very different perspective. The military and security analysis experts like Seth G. Jones focus on operational realities, and here the tone changes significantly. This perspective asks: Is Iran actually succeeding, or is it exposing itself? So, from this angle, US and Israeli responses are degrading Iran's capabilities. That is number one. Number two is the proxy attacks show reach but also vulnerability. Number third is the military pressure may escalate faster than Iran intends. So, the argument here is controlled escalation is a risky illusion because in real war dynamics, miscalculations happen. Escalation spirals quickly. So the key takeaway is like this situation is more unstable than strategic and could tip into real war. And let's talk about Mona Yakubian. We move on into regional geopolitics, the broader Middle East picture, and analysts like Mona Yacobian focus on one critical question: what happens next? This perspective highlights the Middle East is highly interconnected, and US Iran Israel escalation spreads quickly. We are not looking at a three country conflict. We are looking at a regional system under pressure. So, the key concerns include there are four. One concern is the Lebanon, that is Hezbollah, then the Syria, then Gulf states, and number four, even global energy routes. So, from this lens, this biggest danger is not war itself, and it is regional spillover. So, the key takeaway is that the conflict is bigger than the actors involved. Now, let's talk about some opinions of Michael Eisenstadt. So let's move to Israeli security perspective. This is where analysis becomes more hardline. Experts like Michael Eisenstadt emphasize deterrence must be maintained at all costs. From this perspective, Iran is testing limits and weak response, that is future aggression. So, Israel's strategy is seen as preemptive, aggressive, calculated. The belief here is simple. If Iran is not stopped now, it will become stronger militarily and politically. So the key takeaway is deterrence requires strength, not restraint. Now let's talk about holy digress. Finally, we enter a completely different battlefield, the information war. Analysts like Holly Degris focus on three things: narratives. Number one is narratives, then the social media, and the psychological influence. And here's what is critical: the war is not only being fought with missiles, it is being fought with information. So, from this perspective, Iran is shaping narratives online. Media framing is influencing global opinion. Perception is actually the power. So, even military outcomes are unclear. Narrative dominance can define who is winning. So, the key takeaway here is the real battlefield is also digital. So let's do a quick final analysis of all the opinions of the five experts we just spoke about. So now let's step back. We have five experts' perspectives from the strategic point of view, strategic Iran from the Meloni, then from the military instability explained by Jones, and then the regional risk is by Yakubian, and the deterrence doctrine. I sense that expert that being shared by that expert, and the information warfare by Degris. And here's the truth: all of them are correct, but incomplete, because each expert focuses on one dimension while ignoring others. So, my conclusion is that this is not just a war, this is a multi layered conflict involving four things: strategy, military pressure, regional politics, and psychological warfare. And unless all these layers are understood together, every analysis will look contradictory. So, this was analysis of analysis. And if you want deeper breakdowns where we challenge expert opinions instead of blindly following them, so subscribe, follow, and share, because in today's world, understanding the analysis is more important than understanding the news. Thanks for watching.